When students know that their efforts are going to be seen by someone outside the classroom, that they're not just handing something into the teacher, but that someone is going to hear about this, someone's going to care about this, it's a whole different experience. At the most simplified definition, it's a way of teaching and learning that gives students a context for developing a deep understanding and developing the kinds of skills that they need to go on with whatever they want to go on with in life. It prepares them for the future that they want to create. And there's not one right model, not one right way to do it. But the different examples that we're seeing, some schools will decide, we're going to teach everything through project-based learning. All subjects, all the time, students are engaged in PBL, and these tend to be interdisciplinary projects with teachers having time to collaborate, design projects together. We also see many, many more schools that are setting the stage for project experiences sometimes for students. So there may be some traditional teaching interspersed with a very rich project. And that project might take a couple of weeks, it might take a couple of months. The Buck Institute attempted to define a gold standard for project-based learning. What would that mean if you were aspiring to the best design of a PBL experience, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, a full semester? What's essential to make that happen? And one of those myths is that projects are going to be sort of fluffy. It's not serious enough. It's not rigorous enough. We hear the rigor word quite a lot. But we know from research that when PBL is done well, students have a deeper understanding and are able to apply what they've learned. And what's kind of the beauty of PBL is that there are tandem tracks that students are learning really deep, important knowledge, content, we might call academic content. At the same time, they're developing those success skills, critical thinking, collaboration, communication, being able to put your ideas forward. Those are right at the heart of the project as goals. And what's emerged is a framework for designing a project that kind of opens up like a camera lens. So if you imagine right in the focal point of that lens, right at the heart, is the kind of deep understanding, the goals for deep understanding and success skills. So right at the heart of the project always is what's worth learning in this project. There are some components that really set the stage for deep, rich learning experiences. And what we find works well in project-based learning is to think of some bookends. So it starts with some sort of engaging question or challenge that sets the stage for inquiry. So right off the bat, students are asking questions that matter to them. And then what happens next, kind of in the messy middle part of the project, is some research, investigations, which can take shape in all kinds of different ways, so that eventually students develop some deep understanding. And then they do something with that new knowledge. They apply it in some way, or they make a presentation to educate others about what they've learned. So in some way, they take their new understanding and they apply it and they share it with a real audience, an authentic audience. Having an authentic audience for students' work, we've realized over decades now, is that that's one of the key pieces for really raising the game in terms of the quality of student work. Where the magic of learning happens is when students don't just take a test to find out if they learned something, but their learning is constantly evolving as they get feedback, as they get formative assessment, and then make another draft or another prototype or another iteration. Tech can change the game for project-based learning when you have access to technology tools that can take things in a different direction. Opportunities to connect or collaborate or communicate or create something using digital tools. That can really kind of turbo boost what happens in PBL. But I think there's a word of caution in that it's not about the tech first. It's really important to focus on your learning goals first. What are you trying to accomplish in this project? And then which technologies do you have available and are going to be worth integrating to take it to another level? So what's the teacher doing? What's the teacher's role? Are they coaching? Are they mentoring? Are they setting up teaching and learning activities? As a kind of a driving question for teachers to consider, I think it's worth coming back to, how do I know this is going to be the most meaningful, best use of our time as a community of learners? It may sound complex. It may sound like, oh, there are all these elements I need to think about as a teacher. A lot of this is new to me. But I think it can be simplified into thinking about, how do I set the stage for a rich inquiry experience where students want to take hold of learning because they care about answering an interesting question that matters to them. Even just looking at what comes out of projects, looking at some of the artifacts, what do students produce, or if you ever have the opportunity to watch students present their work, boy, they really own this information. They know it, they get deeply into it, and they're able to do something with it.